Breaking news: Tinubu is running an animal farm economy. Atiku Abubakar blasts President Tinubu. Guys, the presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 election, who is also a former vice president, Atiku Abubakar, has stated that the latest inflation figure of 26.72 and the food inflation of 30.6% underscores the incompetence and cluelessness of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. In a statement on Tuesday to Niger News, Atiku Abubakar's special assistant on public communication, Mr. Frank Shaib, said that Tinubu's fuel subsidy removal, his shrouded exchange rate, unification policy, and uninformed introduction of VAT on diesel were among the reasons for the high inflation rate. Atiku's aide described the eventual removal of VAT on diesel as belated and evidence of arbitrary nature of Tinubu's administration. He said that Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency on food security was nothing but mere rhetoric, as food prices had continued to soar, coupled with a hike in the cost of transportation and also the state of the bad roads, that's the federal roads, that have made the interstate travel unbearable. Now, Shoaib added that food prices in several parts of the world are dropping. However, they are only increasing in Nigeria because the country is being governed by economic Putin, whose only bragging right is to increase the revenue of Lagos State through multiple taxation and the institutionalization of extortion. According to Atiku, Tinubu knows nothing about exchange rates. Tinubu knows nothing about monetary policy. Tinubu does not even know how to run a multi-ethnic and largely country like Nigeria. This was a man who once said last year that the only way to solve unemployment was to employ 50 million youths into the army and feed them with agbado, that's corn, and cassava, and ewa, that's beans. How can such a man have answers to Nigeria's problem? Atiku's aide had described Tinubu's administration as prodigal, adding that the way money was being wasted amid the scarcity of resources showed the insensitivity of the government. He added that even at a time when he was calling on everyone to tighten their belts, he inaugurated the largest cabinet in Nigeria's history and is set to plunge Nigeria deeper into more debt, where he declared an emergency in food security, where he ordered the release of grains and reviewed his earlier palliative plan. But 100 days since the so-called declaration of a state of emergency, Nigerians are in hunger. Nigerians are getting hungrier, the poor are getting poorer. It's obvious that it was all a ruse to deceive the feeble-minded, just like his announcement on the lifting of the UAE visa ban. Shaib called on Nigerians to tarry a bit longer while the Supreme Court tries to rectify the electoral disaster of the February 25th, 2023 election. He said that the Tinubu administration last year, Nigerians would have been poorer than ever. Okay, what he said is that if Tinubu's administration should last for a year, for 1 year, then Nigerians would be more poorer than we are now. People are complaining, oh, the state of the nation is terrible. Tinubu's administration is not even up to 1 year. It's still about, 5 months and counting. But then, what about if we get to a year? How would it happen? I mean, Shoibu, Prank Shaib called on Nigerians to tarry a bit longer, that they should wait for the Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court can rectify this issue. It is only the Supreme Court that has the answers to this issue. Mr. Frank said under Tinubu's watch, the inflation rate had risen steadily from 22.79% in June to 24.08% in July, from July 25.80% to August, now September and October. Food inflation has also moved steadily from 25.25% in June to 30.6%. Now, so if this certificate forger is allowed to continue in office for another year, then the inflation rate could rival that of Sani Abacha's regime, which saw the inflation rate peak at 72.84% in the 1995, the highest in Nigeria's history. It was at that time that Nigeria was facing stiff sanctions. Mr. Frank Shaib said for more indications that the Nigerian government had secretly reintroduced subsidies on petrol. Yes, so my country people, the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, have alleged that there have been a reintroduction of the fuel subsidy. Talking about the huge gap price, that's the huge gap between the prices of the petrol on one hand and those of the kerosene and diesel on the other hand. So according to the PDP Atiku, Nigerians should not be deceived by the antics of his government. They have secretly introduced subsidies on petrol. This is why the price of petrol has remained stable, while the price of diesel, kerosene and cooking gas have all gone up. Okay, my country people, this is a very serious issue. Now, foreign investors are aware of the lies being told by the Tinubu's administration, hence their decision not to take him in seriously. Whoa, my country people, it dey happen o. Atiku Abubakar has sent a very big message to Nigerians that it seems that Tinubu is a big disaster. Tinubu's administration, let's watch out. After 1 year, some people might not be able to tell the story because the poor will get poorer. So my country people, what are your thoughts on this? I'm dropping here, guys. Kindly share your thoughts concerning this in the comment section.